and welcome to this episode of the Virtuous Woman Show. My name is Sheila Juma and we're so happy to be hosting you for yet another episode. We hope that this show is a blessing to you. We hope that you've had a great week from wherever you're watching us from. I hope you had a great Sunday. This is going to be one informative show, and if you're watching us for the first time, karibu sana. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for being a viewer that is always watching. If you have never followed us on our social media platforms, please go ahead and do so. We are the Virtuous Woman Show on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, and on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel. There is an array of content for you there. If you've not watched any of our episodes or you missed an episode, you will most likely find it on YouTube. If you are watching this online, go ahead, share the link, have someone watch with you. Invite someone to share in the blessing that this show is going to be. Like I said, my name is Sheila Juma and I have a very amazing woman of God with me on set, and we are going to be talking about emotional eating or eating disorders. Are you there? And when you get stressed or when you get emotional, your first instinct is to reach for some fries, or to reach for a burger, or to reach for, I don't know, porridge, whatever your favorite thing is. This show is for you. How to deal with this, because it can become an actual disorder. You may not have known that, but we're going to discuss this in depth with our guest today, Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Maybe you can look at your camera and let us know who you are and what you do.
Okay, my name's Lucy Mora, a born-again Christian, married to one handsome husband. Also blessed with 2 children, 14 and 11. Yes, I'm a continuing student taking counseling and psychology at Park University.
Ah, beautiful. You're a student. Never stop learning. No. Good. Karibu sana. Today we're talking about emotional eating. So maybe you can tell us what that is.
Wow. Emotional eating is something that us as human beings, we normally don't get to understand it. And emotional eating is one thing that is a response in us that we normally don't get to know it so fast. And it's normally caused by a certain hormone called cortisol in our bodies.
Cortisol?
Yes, cortisol is a hormone that really craves, insists on the craving.
Okay.
And this happens when now you get to, okay, with our minds, we have 3 minds.
Educate us. We're ready.
Yes, we have 3 components. One is id. The id, it's the one that asks for gratification. All the time, it's the one that asks for gratification. For example, if a child is hungry, will really want to be eating by that minute. So what happens, it's the id now that surpasses the other components.
Okay.
So when we talk about the emotional eating, this is a response that we try to cope with our feelings instead of satisfying ourselves with food.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coping with your feelings.
Yes.
All right. Yes. You said there are 3 components in the brain.
Yes.
Can you tell us the other 2?
The other 2 is ego and super ego, and as we be continuing,
okay.
Yes.
Sawa.
Yes.
Now, what causes emotional eating?
What causes emotional eating is something which is very funny. It's something that happened in your childhood.
Okay.
So yes, the emotional eating most of the time is caused by childhood habits.
Okay.
For example, one time you fell down when you were young, or even you did well in school, and then your primary caregivers, who is now maybe our guardians or even our parents, came and rewarded you with a sweet. And also maybe when you fell, they were also given a sweet.
Yeah.
You didn't deal with the emotions, you didn't deal with the feelings. Instead, you gratified that child. So what registers in our minds when we are young is what happened. So when this child falls down, there's something that has been registered. So what happens is that he or she needs that sugary thing to feel fulfilled. So it grows up with us. When you feel like you are angry, or when you need something, like you need to reward yourself, you still grow with these feelings.
Yeah.
So you feel, I need to grab a sweet.
Yeah.
I need to grab an ice cream for this to happen. What do I mean by this? Maybe Lucy is angered by someone. What happens the first thing? Instead of you working with your feelings as well as your emotions, you first of all think of what? You first of all think of gratifying yourself. So what happens? You hide your emotions. You go take an ice cream. You just lie to yourself, you're just going to get a cone. But this time, remember, you bought a whole kg. You start eating until it's done. So what does this happens to you? You feel gratified.
Yeah.
But the emotions and the feelings are still there, and they are not touched. Yes.
So how can you identify emotional eating and the difference between, for example, as a pregnant woman, you know, there are cravings.
Yes.
Are these cravings caused by that? What did you call it?
The gratification.
No, Id. Yes.
The id.
Yeah. Are those cravings caused by Id?
At some point, I would say yes, but I'm not
sure.
per se sure.
Okay.
But I would say yes, because now it's something that is really asking. It's like a child when the child is crying, is really looking to your attention.
Yeah.
Is until now you work on her or him. That's when they will feel fulfilled. Yeah. So when this happens, the id now, remember there is this hormone called cortisol. The cortisol now starts when it's released. What happens? It pushes. It pushes pushes it to the mind. So the hormones tells the mind, I want it and I want it now. Yeah. Na kama siyo sasa ni sasa hivi. So what you do, you get it and you grab it. Yeah. Yes.
So now the difference between now like a regular craving, because I can just sit down sometimes and I just tell my husband, oh, I just want chocolate right now. It's not an urgency. Yes. So what is the difference between that, like a just general craving, and now emotional eating?
The difference is you just asked for a chocolate because you wanted it.
Yeah.
So you want to gratify it, not over an emotion.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The other thing is, the other side is you want to gratify these feelings with food instead of satisfying your hunger. Yes. Remember when you ask your husband for a chocolate, you were trying to satisfy your hunger.
For the chocolate.
Yeah. But this other side is that what you're trying to do is you're trying to cope with that feeling. So it's just the same as when you're angered by someone, you decide to be angry. Yeah. Or maybe to shout. You decide to do something else. In this case now, what you do, you decide to grab a popcorn. Yeah. You decide to grab a burger.
A cake.
And you feel, remember, it can still happen. You're full, but you're feeling you still need to eat. You still need to eat.
Wow, okay. And I like what you said about it could stem from a young age. Yes. It could come from a young age, the habits you train your children with. So if you're watching and you have a young child, train them in a way that she will not have an eating disorder. Yeah, help them deal with their emotions at a very young age.
Yes, the other thing about that can cause is our stressful emotions. Okay. Our stressful events. Okay. This can be workplace, it can be also finances. You now wonder, what do I do? So you have set yourself that anytime I'm stressed, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab an ice cream. I'm going to go to Valentine's Day. This 1 kg, lazima nimalize. Peke yangu. Now you will not, actually, si ati haujui, you know, but you're eating. It's until now you come to self-realization, you're like, nimemaliza hiyo keki. Or your husband will tell you, Sheila, 1 cake hujatubakishia
ata kidogo. Yeah. Do you think it helps? Like that eating, is it a coping mechanism that helps?
No, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
It's a coping mechanism called displacement.
Okay.
And it's a maladaptive behavior that we adapt. So what you do for you to get the comfort zone, you now get this defense mechanism or the coping mechanism that now happens to us. What you do is, what I mean by displacement is that this thing that is happening, you can only feel it with food. You're trying to displace the other things you now deal with what?
Food.
With what is there.
Yeah.
You deal with it here
Yeah.
now.
And I think it's because food is more familiar and it's present, it's tangible.
Yes, and also it's something that us women, especially with these junks and what, it's something catchy. You know?
Yeah. What are some of the negative effects of stress eating or emotional eating?
Okay, the negative effects now, they are first of all, you will be having maybe, especially as women, you keep on looking at your tummy. Yeah? We want to have a flat tummy all the time. So you hear Sheila is and Lucy sasa nakabeli kako kanianza kuprotrude. Something else is there. Our health conditions. Yes. Now remember we said that cortisol produces what? It produces this cortisol produces this hormone that sends a message, and this cortisol always craves for salty, sugary, and also fatty foods. So what happens to our bodies? You either maybe start being big, belly starts now protruding. You can also have conditions like diabetes. You can have conditions as hypertension. And now what happens when you get that is now your self-esteem now
goes low.
It starts going down.
Are there any, okay, you've talked about physical, because when you're eating you will gain weight.
Yes, of course.
Automatically, without question.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to obesity, do you think in women that could be one of the reasons we have a lot of maybe obesity going on in this day and age? Because in this day of social media and all these pressures and could emotional eating be playing a part?
It should be playing a very big role actually, because now by the time it's coming to you being obese, remember you have already you now don't keep track of your eating. You just eat because you want to eat. You don't eat because you are hungry. Remember we said whenever emotional eating comes when you're coping with your feelings and not satisfying your hunger. So remember, you're only working with the emotion. Mind. And now what happens to our emotion now, especially when all these causes identifies to us, is now you start having shame. You start having guilt. Yes.
And that plays now into your self-esteem and all that.
And this now where the third component of our mind comes, which is super ego now shows you, it's the morality part of it. It's now the shame.
How does this affect our relationships?
Okay. It will really definitely like it will make you maybe start now feeling withdrawing, isolating yourself from others, because now you're finding you're already feeling shameful and you're already guilty. I don't know if I come to Sheila, what will she say? Or even when now maybe you're in that age, you want now you to indulge yourself into relationship. You now start saying, will they accept me with the way I look? Yes.
Wow, this is a very heavy topic, and we'll be right back after this very short break. We have to take a break, and we'll be right back with this topic of eating disorders.